How are you?
Okay. Yeah.
There he is.
Yeah, good, mate. Yeah. How are you?
Good, mate. Good to see you. How are you?
Yeah. Yeah, good. Good to see you, mate. Doing all right.
Long time, mate.
Podcast.
Long time.
Yeah. Been a few years, eh?
Mate, so I know you listen to a few, but kind of how I do these is kind of an interview, but more of a conversation.
Yeah.
I did a few earlier, like when I was talking to Kieran and guys like that, where I was interviewing them and people were like, conversational styles a bit better. So I kind of got some things I want to ask you, and then let's just see where it goes, mate. Yeah, are you cool with
sweet.
that?
Yeah, I'm cool with that. Yeah.
So I was thinking, what was that?
No, so this is my first podcast, so yeah, I might be a bit, nervous or whatever. So,
mate, it's funny to hear you say that, considering some of the shit you've done since I've last seen you. So I was just thinking about this today. The last time I saw you, I think you'd left West Harbour to go to New Zealand. Well, we played against each other, I'm pretty sure. And then you moved to New Zealand. So since I've last seen you, you've won 5 Super Rugby titles, played in a Rugby World Cup, captained your country, and now you just signed to go to the Leicester Tigers in the English Premiership. Do you, like, if someone said to you 5 years ago, what would you say to that?
I probably wouldn't believe it, to be honest, like, especially where I was at the time. Yeah. No, definitely wouldn't believe it. Yeah. Well, before I left, I was pretty much going to quit altogether, just play Shoot Shield, play for West Harbour and work. So, yeah, to see what's happened since then, it's pretty unbelievable. But at the same time, like, now that I'm in it, I probably won't appreciate it until I finish playing. So, yeah, I mean, I'm still going. So, yeah, I mean, who knows when it's going to end? Hopefully, all going well. Could have spent a few years at Leinster. So
how many years have you signed? How many years are you signed for?
I've signed 2 years at Leinster in Ireland. Yeah.
Oh, in Ireland. I thought it was Leicester Tigers, so it's Leinster in Ireland.
Okay. Yeah.
Mate, very cool. So why? Well, let's go. I'm going to jump around all over the place because that's just the way I am, bro. Sorry about
that. No, you're all
right. So when I was talking to Kieran, I think everyone's fascinated by what happens at the Crusaders because they just produce so many good rugby players consistently. And you look at guys like yourself, your Pete Samus of the world, your Nemani Nadolos, who you wouldn't say rejected, but it kind of didn't work out in Australia. Go to the Crusaders and then look at everything that's happened for you guys.
Yeah.
Can you put it down to anything? Like, I know with Kieran, he grew up in that system and he was there the whole time. But you've seen the other side of it.
Yeah. Well, for me personally, I had a pretty dream run into the Crusaders because Mikaele Alaalatoa was there in 2015, and he left there to go to the Chiefs so that he could play, so he could start. So that opened the door for a tight end, and just off the back of Mitre 10, that's where my opportunity came, and I was the only other tight end. It was myself and Owen. So, and to be honest, I probably wasn't ready to play every game of Super Rugby that year, but I did, and I had to learn pretty quickly. Probably just on the Crusaders, the first thing I noticed was at training was like, the culture and the standards are driven by the players, not the coaches. So, like, I'm coming from Australia, I was so used to, like, the coaches, like, getting up the boys, like, fucking, like, you need to run up harder or work harder here and there. But over there, it's just the boys, like, telling each other to work harder for each other, because, I mean, at the end of the day, if you're not doing that, then you're going to let your teammate down. And that's, and then even now, like, a normal week, like, the thing that I always tell people is that all I have to worry about is just doing my job to the best of my ability. I know that the guy next to me is going to do the same, and then we're all on the same page, and everything just flows from there. So I think that's a big part of our success, is everyone just owning their own shit and doing their own job and you trust that your mate's going to do the same.
Has it always been like that?
I think so from the start. Yeah, it's always been there. But 2016, when my first year, we lost the quarterfinals, so there was a piece missing, and that's what Razor and Jace Ryan and that new coaching staff brought, was just that enjoyment factor. So it probably wasn't much of an enjoyment factor at the start, or when I first went down. And there were a lot of old heads there as well at the time. Like I can't remember all the names, but when Razor and that came in, they pretty much turned the whole organization upside down. So that players driving standards was still there, but guys, even like the All Blacks, they were put on edge as well, just from his style and the way he coaches. And you turn up on a Monday, like actually wanting to be at training because you want to be around your mates, and it's just such a fun environment to be a part of. So like, we'll be an example of that. Like we have like our mini team games on a Monday, like, so, and it's all good fun, and then like the boys take the piss out of each other at that, and that's probably something that was missing that year before.
Yeah.
And every year it's just built from that. Yeah. Now the players have like taken over that, like over the last 5 years. Now the players drive all that stuff now. So yeah, that's probably the big one, I reckon. Yeah, it's just that enjoyment factor, and then the other change would be like around, like, Razor's really big on driving the mindset for the team. So he's I think I listened to Roach's one. Like he's really big on like having a theme for the year, and then like tying in everything that we do on and off the field to that theme.
Yeah.
And that's pretty much what like motivates us to play on the weekend. So he's really big on using videos to motivate the boys. We'll have like a video before we train on a Thursday. We'll have a video before we run out. On a Saturday, we watch it at the hotel. And that's an awesome tool that he uses to get the boys up, and how it links everything together, ties everything to the theme that we have for the year.
Does he make the videos himself, or does he get one of the video guys?
Nah, so one of the video guys one of the video guys does it. So he puts it all together, but like Razor has the vision. Yeah,
he's the director. The other guy's the editor.
Yeah. Yeah.
What's your theme for this year, if you can share it? I don't want to get you in trouble.
No, I can't share it. I can't share this year's one because we're still in it. But last year's one was around transcending the sport of rugby, pretty much.
Yeah.
Because years previous, like we've pretty much built, like the first year was, so 2017 was Razor's first year, and the theme was around the Muhammad Ali versus George Foreman fight. Like how, I don't know, it was like 4 or 5 rounds where he was getting smoked, but he worked his way back in. Like it was all part of his plan to come back and win in the back end of the fight and knock George Foreman out. So our whole theme was based around that, and then every year after that, it's just built from in different ways. Yeah, so. Yeah, I could go on for hours talking about that stuff, but
mate, go for it. That's the stuff people want to hear, because, like, to me, I look at it like the Crusaders is not just one of the most successful teams in rugby. It's one of the most successful teams in world sport in reality. So I think any chance people can get an insight into, what makes an organisation like that tick, like I'm certainly interested. So I imagine other people would be as well. What's he like? What's he like as a bloke, Razor Robertson? He seems like a bit of an eclectic character.
Yeah, he's a bit different. I remember the first time I sat down with him when he came in. So I re-signed in 2016, but then those coaches left, and then he come in. So I don't think he was too keen on me, off the back of the way I played that year. So sit down with him, and he's pretty much just like come straight up the guts and just grilled me. I don't know him personally.
Yeah.
But he's like, one of the first questions he asked me was, if you were to race, if you were to train with your brother, so Alan, if you were to train with Alan in the preseason, who would win? And I was just, I'd never really had a combo with him before, so I didn't really know what to think of that. And I was, it's like, oh. And then I think I said, I think he won. And then and he's like, oh, like, and then another thing, I remember he asked me like, oh, how are you feeling at the moment? Like off the back of playing that Mitre 10 season. I was like, I said, I think I need a break from rugby for a bit. And then he's like, nah, mate, it's not a break. You never say break. It's a refresher, he's really big on language as well. The language they use.
Yeah.
So ever since then, every time he asks me if I'm in the middle of a fitness session and he's like, how you feeling? I'll be like, yeah, I feel good. But really inside, I'm fucking blown. Yeah.
Mate, what about Jason Ryan?
Yeah, Jason Ryan, yeah.
I've listened to a few podcasts he's done and, watched a few little videos on him and stuff. He seems like a fantastic, forwards and scrum coach. Can you talk about him a little bit?
Yeah. He's probably the person that's had the most influence on me the whole time I've been here. So for me personally, I don't really have a lot. I don't really have to do much with Razor because I'm always going to him around what I need to nail for the week and what I need to improve on and stuff. And on top of that, he cares about all front rowers everywhere. So he's got that front row club that he used to run, and he loves it. He loves all the front rowers. And he's become almost like a second dad for me over here. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So what do you want to know about him? Just the way he coaches, or?
No, I was just sort of interested in some of the coaching stuff, purely for selfish reasons. Like I've just jumped into coaching myself, and what are the sessions like? Does he just do the scrum? Does he do the line out? Like, what's his role in the team?
Well, yeah, he does. He does mainly the scrum, and he does help out with the line out, or in terms of the skill set in that. But we've obviously got world class people that can run a line out, like Sam Wylock, Luke Romano, Scott Barrett, Quinton Strange. They're pretty much the guys that write the line outs for us every week. Yeah. And
as they should.
Yeah, exactly. And he's pretty much there just making sure that they haven't missed anything, and he'll be more on us about our skill set. So like if we didn't get a full lift, or if we're too high on a drive or something like that, that's the stuff.
So he's more keeping you accountable than actually running the line out.
Yeah, pretty much, yeah. But he does it, even though those guys run the line out, he'll when needed, he'll keep them accountable too, like guys like Sam and that as well. Like it's not just those younger guys, or like he does it for everyone. He treats everyone the same, which is a good thing about him. And he's really big on mindset as well. Like he's really like the language he uses, and like the way he motivates the boys. Like he uses a lot of like images and stuff. So like there was one time we walked into a forwards meeting. This is an example. So we walked into a forwards meeting, and he played this video of this guy on the drum kit. So it had like a 1, 2, 3, 4, like a pulse going, and then this drummer's just like playing the drums, playing like a drum solo. And then at the end, he's like, "Oh, why did I play that?" And so, it was up to the boys to try and figure out. And the point that he wanted to get across was around rhythm and timing. So like, and it was directed at our scrum. So, your scrum's at its best when everyone's pushing in sync and in rhythm and with good timing on our shunt. So that was the point that he was trying to get across. So he's really good on that. Another example is used as like he'll rowing, like the 8.
Yeah.
So yeah, he'll put a video of that. Everyone rowing and all in sync, all in time. So it's the same sort of thing. Yeah.
So he's trying to. It's like a metaphor. It's like a metaphor so that everyone goes, if we all work together, this is going to work really well.
Yeah.
What's it been like for you being, well, I was going to say under, but kind of in the same team as someone like Owen Franks?
Oh, that was awesome for me. Like what everyone says about him is true. Like he's the ultimate professional. Like I've never seen anything like it. Like and there's a lot of it's more what he does off the field to get himself ready for the game that is like a lot of people can take a lot out of. So like, in between, so he'll be lifting in the gym, he loves the squats. So he'll be squatting, and then in between sets, he'll have some band set up on the side, and he'll be doing his scrums. He'll either have an iPad set up so he can review them as well, like in between sets. And my early years, I never used to do it, but now I'm doing it. That's something that I've brought into my prep as well. The more I do it, the more I'm practicing those good habits. So that's something that I got from him. So that was probably a big one. Yeah, just around the drills and that. And then, obviously the way he eats, or like his nutrition it's second to none. Like, and the way he recovers and all that as well. It's the best I've seen. Yeah. And
so a tight head prop is the most professional rugby player you've ever seen.
Yep, 100%. Yeah, a tight head. Yeah, Owen Franks. Yeah,
amazing.
Yeah, like he doesn't really drink, and then after that 2016 quarterfinal. Oh yeah, I got a good yarn for you actually. So I think it was that. So we played the quarterfinal against the Lions in Johannesburg in 2016. We lost, so our season was done. So all of us were like, we got on it that night. We got on it pretty hard. Got back to the hotel like early hours in the morning, and some of the boys kept going through to the next to when our flight was. I went to sleep, and then like around 4, and then I woke up at 7 or 8, and I walked out to the lobby, and Owen's sitting there, dressed in his training kit, ready to go somewhere. This is day after the game, day after the quarterfinal, and so he's obviously going to the gym to work out. And I was like, who in the world would work out the day after losing a quarterfinal? I don't know anyone else that would do that. Anyway, I walked past him, and he's asked me, "Hey, Mikey, you keen to come to the gym with me?" And that was only my first year, and I had so much respect for him. I was like, "Oh fuck, I can't really say no, can I?" So I was still pissed, and I went to the gym with him, and I remember, he was off doing squats, and I remember trying to bench press, and I couldn't even see the bar straight, so I just sacked it. Went and sat in the sauna for half an hour after that.
Apparently he did the same thing after the World Cup final that they won over in New Zealand. It's like 2 days later, he's in the gym.
Yeah. Well, that's it. Yeah. Like I heard that story as well, but actually witnessing it, like, even after a loss, like quarterfinal, or everyone else is on the piss, like going hard, and here's Owen Franks, he's on to the next job. He's on to the next thing that's going to make him keep being the best at what he does. Yeah, that very next morning. Yeah,
I'm intrigued by guys like this, because I feel like you got to have that mindset a little bit to do what he's done. In reality, he's one of the greatest tight end props of all time, without question. Yeah. But does he do it because that's just the way he's wired, or does he enjoy doing it? like, what's his mindset? Because to me, if I just run a World Cup final, I'd be going absolutely crazy for probably a month. But that's probably why I'll never win a World Cup final.
Yeah. I think it is the way he's wired, and I think it's the way he's been brought up. His dad, he's a fitness coach, and his specialty is around cognitive conditioning. So like being able to think clearly when you're fatigued and under pressure. And his dad come in and did some work with us as a team, but I think he's been doing that stuff with Owen and I assume Ben Franks, like, since they were young. So so it's definitely his dad will be a big influence on that. And but to be fair, the period that I was there, I wouldn't say loosened up. He still did everything that he needed to prepare well. But by the end of his time at the Crusaders, he was definitely more like he'll joke around more and be more approachable than he was at the start. I mean, he was good. He was always good to me, but he probably wasn't as scary to be around as he was that first year at the end. Like, I think his wife gave birth to their son like 2016 or 2017. Now they have 2 kids, and you see him. At first it was weird seeing him around kids, but now but it's so normal now for him, and he's loosened up a bit because of that, and it's probably a good balance. Or like a lot of the boys that I've spoken to said it was probably a good balance for him in the end, anyway, to have his missus and his family.
Were you in Christchurch when the earthquakes happened?
Nah, that was 2011 was with 2011 was the earthquakes. We moved here 2015.
Okay, so it was well after. Yeah, I was just keen to see like the influence that had on the city, because I know it was pretty rough.
Oh, well, when I got here, there's still heaps of stuff there's still stuff now. If you were to go through Christchurch now, there's still heaps of empty old building sites that have it's just gravel, and they've changed it into like parking lots. Like, the city's coming back. Like, they've put in all this new stuff, and it's really cool to go into the city now. But you go through there, you can still see there's still a lot of earthquake damage. And then you go out to the suburbs, there's whole suburbs that have been wiped out completely. Just it's just all grass.
Still gone.
Yeah, I don't think they'll ever build on them again.
Okay.
Yeah.
Too risky. Yeah. What about on the other footy side of things? Sorry if this bores you, mate, but I'm interested in it. How's the approach to rugby different in New Zealand than it is in Australia? If you can pick anything.
Yeah. Well, I think the first, I'd say most, or if not all, the New Zealand teams that we have structures. We have a shape. We have what we call a shape that we play, but the shape is designed to play to our strengths and play what's in front of us. So it doesn't restrict us to we need to crash it here and then crash it there, and you can only there's always one person carrying and 2 cleaners. You always have the ability to carry, to tip it on or go out the back.
So it's just up to you guys to make good decisions based on what you see in front of you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I think, and the coaches at training, they back us to do it. I remember back in Aussie, I was told by a coach not to throw a cutout pass once, but
who was
but
that?
I'm not gonna name names, but I remember. But now passing's become such a big part of my own game. I probably wouldn't have passed much at all before, but it's just the way we play. We all need to have the ability to move the ball to the space. And I think that's probably the main point of difference. Yeah.
Mate, What was it like winning the Super Rugby title for the first time? Can you remember that feeling? Because I could imagine you'd grown up wanting to do that forever.
Oh, can't even describe it. Yeah, it was crazy, man. Like that whole week was crazy. Like, so yeah, so we won the semi-final against the Chiefs that week before. And we were waiting for the Hurricanes and Lions to play in Johannesburg. And if the Hurricanes won, we would have stayed at home. If they lost, then we had to travel that next morning. So we were all up watching the game, and as soon as they lost, we all packed our bags. And we were like, none of us had slept. We were on the plane, but it was just like, yeah, it was just an awesome week. Like I can't even describe it. Like from the moment that final whistle went for that semi-final, it's just like the whole build-up for that game was, it was just out the gate. And just going back to what I said about the theme. So the theme around Muhammad Ali, George Foreman. So that fight was in Africa. And then we went to Africa to play the final. So it just like, it linked up so well with the theme for that year. And the game itself, I remember like being on the bus, and like we got about 5-10 minutes away from the hotel, and there were just people everywhere. Like people and they were like slamming on the bus, giving us the fingers and that as we were driving in. And when we actually drove into the stadium to get off the bus, like there were probably like 1,000 people just like up in the stand and all around barricaded off, waiting for us to get off the bus. It was just, man, it was unbelievable. And then like by the time we ran out to play, the whole of Ellis Park was full, 60,000 people. Like I'd already played there twice before, and there was only it was only a handful of people. So to go there again and play in front of 60,000, it was deafening. Couldn't hear anything. Yeah. And then, yeah, the game itself, like we were all over them for the first 50 minutes, and then the last 30, I think the altitude kicked in, and we were just hanging on, and they had a red card as well. So I remember looking at the clock like continuously, like how long have we got? We're in the lead, and then as soon as that final whistle went, man, it was almost overwhelming, like the emotion. Like that's something I couldn't have ever dreamed to have been in that position, Like, yeah, it's hard to describe, especially that first one, because yeah, like there were so many. Obviously, there's a lot of Crusaders teams that had won previously, but the last team to win was in 2008, and then there was us, 2017. So it was a big gap, and like all the guys like Kieran Reid and that was saying like how hard it is to do this and just to enjoy it. And yeah, and probably one of the good things about it was that we had the time to celebrate just as a team as well, the guys that traveled.
Yeah.
Because not like the years after that, when we've won them at home, like it's awesome to have our families and that around, but it's really nice when it's just the players, you have that time to let it sink in and because those are the guys that you've gone to battle with all year. So it was really nice to have that, 100%. Enjoy that moment as a team by ourselves, and then come back to New Zealand after that.
Did it get any? It's not going to be as good winning it 2, 3, 4, 5 times. Yeah. But what does that feel like?
Or the second one was nice as well because we got to play at home. The third, yeah, and we got to do it in front of our family, and all our friends and that, and the whole celebration was like that whole night was with our family and that. So that was it was cool. It was different to the year before. but no, that was really special as well. Yeah, and then I think the third one was 2019. That was almost like a feeling of relief. Yeah, after winning that one, because by that point everyone had expected us to win. The team we had was pretty much all the same guys from the previous 2 years. And yeah, so when that final whistle went, I think we won, or was it 20-6 or something against Jaguar? So it was pretty tight. And they had a couple of tries go against them as well. So yeah, it was a pretty tight game. And yeah, I don't want to say it wasn't as good, but was
different.
I will say that my favorite was definitely the first. Yeah.
I could imagine. Do they give you guys rings when you win Super Rugby?
We have Super Rugby doesn't organise anything, but we, as a team, they organise some rings for us if we win. So yeah, that's pretty cool. Yeah.
You need two hands, mate. Mate, what was it like playing for Samoa for the first time?
Oh, that was awesome, man. Yeah, so that whole year, 2019, I was kind of umming and ahhing about what to do. So when I finally made the decision to go in and join the camp, I had no regrets straight away. It was the main thing was being around the culture every day. My wife's Indonesian, so and as you know, all my family's back in Sydney, so probably not around Samoans as much as what I used to be. So it was good. It was cool to be around Samoans every day, hearing the language and being around the culture and just like-minded in that way.
Yeah.
Yeah, putting the jersey on for the first time, it was pretty emotional. I remember, so my first game was against Heartland 15, but then my test debut was against the Wallabies, and I remember.
Was Al playing?
No, I didn't play that one. No, okay. They had the week off. That was just before we went to Japan. So I remember coming in after the warm up and started crying. I've never done that before a game before, but it's just playing, representing my family, representing my heritage, my blood, against the team that I grew up wanting to play for my whole life, the Wallabies, and playing at home as well. I was playing in Sydney. So it was just a whole mixed bag of emotions put into that one moment. And yeah, it was really cool to play, in that game. And
did your dad play for Samoa as well?
Yeah, he did. He did play for Samoa, yeah.
He was a prop. He was a prop too, wasn't he?
Yeah. Yeah, he was a tight end. Yeah. So,
do you ever think about the fact that 3 international tight head props came from the one family?
Oh, I actually try not to think about it too much. No, I do get reminded every now. It obviously is a cool achievement to have as a family. But I mean, for me, I'm just trying to do the best that I can for my own family as well, and just I like it. I obviously enjoy playing rugby in that, but when I'm away from it, I want to enjoy being like a dad and a husband, a normal person as much as I can. Yeah.
Yeah. So you're too humble to sort of think about that sort of stuff, but
I wouldn't say that. It does. Obviously, I do feel good about it. But yeah, but it's just I guess it's just trying to sort of separate myself from it sometimes, just so.
No, for sure.
Yeah.
Rather than being sort of identifying yourself as a rugby player, you're a dad, and there's more to you than that. So, is that kind of what you mean?
Yeah, that is kind of what I mean. Yeah, and when I see Alan, not trying not to talk about the footy too much. I mean, we obviously will, because we're both professional rugby players, but just enjoying spending, because we never spend as much time together now as what we used to, like when I was living at home and growing up. So, when we're together, it's more about just like trying to enjoy the time that we have together and as brothers,
Yeah. Talk to me about ours. Talk to me about ours influence on you as a footy player. And obviously he got there just a little earlier than you did.
Yeah.
What was that like for you, being the older brother, seeing the younger brother get so much success at a young age?
Yeah. Well, he's like from when he first started playing. So like when he was he started playing rugby when he was like 5, and I started when I was 8. So we started at the same time. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and he was that kid that used to run the whole field and score those. There's Pacifica kids that used to run the whole field and score tries. I was never that kid.
Me neither.
Yeah. But so and then all through school he went through all like the NTS and then he played schoolboys, and I never played any of that stuff. So it was pretty hard, because like I knew at that age that I wanted to play rugby as well, like at a high level. But I wouldn't say I was jealous of him, because like how I am, like I always want to see my brother do well. Like even now, I find it hard playing against him. Like as professional as I am, I still find it hard to play against him now, because especially like with scrums and that, scrummaging is such a it's the most important thing to a prop, and then it's at the same time it's really personal as well. And so if you're getting smashed in the scrum, it's shit any day of the week. But like I almost feel bad if we smash their scrum or he was to smash ours. You know what I mean? Just because he's my brother, yeah. I mean, I'm more than happy to put a shot on him, but
but the scrum's personal.
yeah. But in terms of his influence, I guess he was always more talented, but he had a really good work ethic from a young age as well. But I think we both sort of did, and we both fed off each other. Like we trained together a lot growing up, down at the field close to where we lived in Campsie. And whenever we're home together now, we still do that. We'll go down and do our running together. So still, that's what I mean when we're together, enjoying that time. Like if we're going to train, we'll do it together and make it quality time. And I think that's pretty much.
Yeah, I understand, mate.
Yeah,
that's good. No, it's good, mate.
Yeah.
It's sort of like, obviously knowing you both, I just wanted to see what you thought of that, because like I remember when you guys played at South and then Al got signed to the Brumbies, you weren't long after that, you went to the Tars, was it?
Yeah. Well, I did preseason with them, and then I ended up staying on for that whole year I wasn't full time, but I was there like 3 days a week. Yeah.
What was that experience like?
2014, I really enjoyed that year, because obviously that was the year that the Tars won.
Yeah.
And the like Checker style, like it was suited to the way that the Tars were that year as well. And I actually enjoyed it. Like and if I'd known what I do now, like I probably would have front-footed a lot more things at that time. Like I mean, my eyes are a lot more open now that I've played here, and I'll go up to anyone and approach anyone about anything if it's going to make me better. And there were a lot of opportunities where I probably should have taken that up with Chick at the time, and I didn't. And that's probably something that I regret, because now that I am where I am now, like I think, what if what if I had figured it out at that point, or earlier in my career, I could have kicked on at an earlier age because, So, I had that opportunity in that professional environment, and I thought I was working as hard as I could and training as hard I was training hard, but I didn't actually know what it meant to be a professional. And to be fair, I never really, the guys in the team, I wouldn't say gave me the help that I needed, but if knowing what I know now, I should have gone out and looked for that help as well. So yeah.
No, that makes sense, mate. Let's jump back to the Samoan stuff. What was it like captaining your country for the first time?
Oh, I haven't captained. I haven't captained yet. I've only just found out 2 weeks ago.
What's that like?
Well, obviously very humbled and privileged to be given that honor. I'm looking forward to the challenge. Probably one of the main concerns I had was around the culture stuff and being able to speak Samoan, because I'm not fluent in speaking Samoan. So that was one of the things I raised with them at the start. But in terms of the on-field stuff, I think I'm pretty confident that I'll do a good job. And there's guys like Jack Lamb still a part of the group, so I'll be looking to him to help me a lot. And there's lots of other guys that have been around the Manu Samoa environment as well that I can lean on. So I'm looking forward to the challenge here. It's going to be I haven't had much captaincy experience, so I'm pretty green. I'm not too sure what it's going to look like, but I'm pretty excited to put my best foot forward and hopefully make the country proud. We'll see. Yeah, but we'll see how we go.
And if you think about that, that's a pretty big honor, bro. Who are you guys playing over the next period of time?
Yeah. So we've got 2 games against the Māori All Blacks.
Yeah.
And then 2 games against Tonga. So those 2 Tonga games are World Cup qualifiers. So so we're pretty much, those are obviously the games that we need to win, and that's all we're focused on really at the moment, is winning those games, and then from that we can plan what the next 3 years looks like.
Yeah. So you win those 2, or how does it work against Tonga? You got to win them in both games.
Well, we win both, we're through. If we win one, lose one, then it's aggregate score. Yeah.
Point difference. Yeah.
Yes.
What was I going to ask you? The World Cup. What was that experience like?
Yeah. So if 2017 final was one of my favorite moments, probably the playing at the World Cup was still the pinnacle of my career. Definitely. Yeah. And it was to do it for Samoa was special, but just to be there and just to play in it was I can't even describe. We played our first game against Russia, and I remember, because at those games you walk out next to each other, and you walk past the William Webb Ellis Trophy just there, and you walk past it. It's just and the stadium was just full as well, which was awesome, because all our games we were playing in front of full stadiums, all our games, which I wasn't expecting. It was a different kind of nervousness. And we're playing against Russia, a team that we knew that we should beat comfortably, but there's still that different feeling about playing on that world stage. It's a hard one to describe, but
what do you mean by different nervousness? Like more of a anticipation, excitement kind of nerves rather than
I think it's probably a combination of both that anticipation and excitement. because when I know that when I'm nervous, I'm going to play well, but it was probably like nerves like on a different level to it's I don't know, it's hard to explain, but I remember walking out, looking at one of the boys behind me, Motu, our hooker, and like I couldn't stop laughing, and I couldn't stop smiling at him, like fuck, how good is this, man? Like we're playing in a World Cup, like this is like once in a lifetime for anyone. Does that kind of answer it?
Yeah. No, yeah, it makes sense, man. Like, and I guess I imagine like you and Al running around the backyard as kids. The World Cup's the sort of thing you always wanted to be at, and then all of a sudden, holy shit, there's the William Webb Ellis Trophy, where there's 60,000 people watching us play for our country against fucking Russia. Well, I can only imagine what that's like.
Yeah, and I'd like to add to that, like what you're saying about me and Alan, like my dad played at the World Cup too. They played at the '91 World Cup for Samoa. So, it was like taking all that in, like for me being there, playing for Samoa, doing what he did, it was, special. Yeah.
Talk to me about your dad's influence on you guys.
Yeah. His influence on us, like, has been massive. Yeah. Like he played right up until, like I think I was about 5 or 6, and then he stopped. And he went straight into coaching. So he was coaching second grade at West Harbour, and he used to bring us down to club training at West Harbour, and we used to like play touch with them. Like they always used to warm up with touch, and that was how we were first introduced to like that level of rugby, like shoot shield rugby. Anyway, he used to like take us down to the park and do some like boxing and stuff with us, like not just rugby stuff. He'll do some boxing, and there were times where I think we used to have some Sunday sessions where we used to train with Scott Seal and Paddy and a few of the other boys that played at West on a Sunday. And my dad, Tavita Seal, Scott's dad, and one of the other boys' dad, they used to coach it. So we'll do fitness and then do some like skills in that, and do some like tackling in that. So, and then even coming through school and that, he was still, because he was still coaching all the time, like he still had a good, like, I've heard of lots of stories of like dads like trying to tell their kids what to do, but for him actually being involved in a club team and coaching, like he was coaching second grade and then he was coaching first grade for the forwards for a bit, so he actually knew what he was talking about. So it was handy having someone like that on the day-to-day influence.
It's seeing photos of your family every time you and Alan play against each other. They just look like, it looks like such a great thing, more for them than probably for you guys.
If that makes sense. It is. It's cool because when we play against each other, like our whole family, it's like it becomes like a family reunion almost, especially when we play like in Canberra, like everyone comes down to those games. So, and they get the t-shirts, they get the special t-shirts made like with the half Crusaders, half Brumby on it. It's pretty cool, and like we're like so grateful for the support that our family give us. Like they've pretty much been like that like since we were kids, So coming through, like they used to go when Alan made schoolboys, like and under 20s, they were flying over to watch him. Like it's not just now that we're playing professionally. Yeah.
Have you ever been close to coming back to Oz?
To be honest, no. I have. There were like inklings and conversations that, and potential contract offers there, but I just love it here too much. I still do. I love it here too much, and the reason I'm the player I am now is because I'm here. Yeah, and I didn't want to. Yeah, I didn't want to leave here. I think at the time that those opportunities were presented, like I was still doubtful that I could move from here and be the same player that I am here. Whereas now I've reached the point where, like, for me to keep growing, I need to go. So that's which is part of the reason why I'm leaving now to go to Ireland.
Test yourself against European scrummages,
Yeah.
Week in, week out grind.
Yeah.
Different style of footy as well.
Yeah, and the team itself, like they've got heaps of Irish internationals. We've got Tad Furlong and Andrew Porter. So they're the two British and Irish Lions. Yeah. So I'm going over there. I'm not expecting to play every week, obviously. But I want to see what the best in Europe's like, and I'll be right there in their environment, training with them and against them, and hopefully become mates with them as well. And it'll be like the same with Owen Franks, because even though I'm nearly 30 now, but like I'm still learning, and I still feel like I've got a lot more to give and a lot more to grow in my game. So, and I think I can still do that here if I was to stay at the Crusaders, but I feel like I've reached the point, especially with the leadership stuff and that, like where I could really grow a lot more if I move somewhere else. So,
something I just a point while I remember it. I'm jumping into the coaching world. I've started to notice that a lot of young players will do anything just to get that first opportunity, and so-and-so is looking at you, come here, and you might play first grade here or whatever, rather than thinking about it in a way, where should I go so that I can make the most of my potential?
Yeah.
Like that's exactly the attitude you're having. Like I'm sure I'm sure the financial rewards are nice as well, but at the end of the day, where am I going to make the most of my potential? Because that's where the most rewards come.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's, you're right. And that's what's most important to me. That's what's most important to my family as well. That's part of the reason why I didn't really like, there might have been an opportunity to go to France, but it's just, I didn't want to go there. Like I wanted to go to a club that has a lot of success. It's like similar to the Crusaders. They're cold, and to talk them up a bit. Like a lot of their players have reached out to me to see if I need help when I move over. So that already speaks. Yeah, already. Like
that's awesome.
Yeah, so that speaks really highly of how they are how their culture is as a club, and that's a club that I want to play for. That's in. Yeah, as you said, like with potential, like if I'm with some of the best players in the world, then it's going to be easy for me to do my own job, because like similar to here, I'm going to trust the guy next to me to do his, and all I need to worry about is myself.
Yeah, mate, absolutely. I had another Crusaders question for you. You said you'd done some leadership stuff. Do they do much work on the individual off field as well?
So they do, yeah. So we've got a professional development person that is full time, and there's hours that are blocked out in the week that are dedicated to that, and you can either use that time to do stuff that you'll have a one-on-one with this person. Well, our lady's name is Virginia. She's a former police officer, so
she's tough as nails.
Yeah, she is. Yeah, yeah. So you have a one-on-one with her, and you try and get some alignment around what you want to do, either like as a business thing during rugby or any study you want to do, or if there's anything that you want to do after you you leave or after you finish, you get alignment, and then she tries to point you in directions where you can use that time in the week to go and do that stuff.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, heaps of the, especially the All Black boys, a lot of them have like, you know, business investments and stuff like that. So and I would have said like the PDM in the past probably helped them start, you know, point them in the right direction for context, and now that's what they use their time for. And then at the same time, she'll get like speakers to come in and talk to us, like from all different kinds of fields, but they'll speak to us about stuff that relates to our theme again. Yeah. So okay. It's all relative to what we're doing, but then from another angle. So like from a whole different field. So not even rugby. It's like could be, I don't know, something else. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. So even you know, this similar theme to try to make the most of your potential off field as well, so you can maximize on field.
Yeah.
I won't keep you too much longer, mate. This has been fantastic. I just got maybe some random questions for you, and I'll let you go to bed. I can see you starting to get tired.
You're right.
I got a lot of young kids, or not young kids, but sort of aspiring rugby players that will listen or watch this. Give them an idea of some of the athletic demands on an elite prop. What roughly? What are you squatting? What are you benching? What's your best conditioning? Just so people have an idea of what the guys at the top level are doing.
Yeah. So, so my best squat is 220 for 2. My best bench is 160. So, but now I've structured my whole program differently because when I squat, I get a sore back. So it's about being professional. Like it comes down to being professional and what's going to set you up in the week so that you can get to Saturday and be at your best. Yeah. Like before, when I first started, it used to be about, you know, I want to squat big because Joe Moody's squatting 250 or whatever. Like I want to try and catch him. But now, like my mindset's changed around that. It's about what's best for me, so to set me up to do my job to the best of ability on Saturday. So yeah, I think, and then so going back to the numbers, my Bronco, my best is 5'10", I think, or 5'09". Yeah.
How much are you weighing when you're doing that?
126. Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah. Yeah.
That is amazing.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah.
Yeah, and they got backs that are getting like 4 minutes something, aren't they?
Yeah. One of the boys, Fergus Burke, he got 419, I think. Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Who's the best prop you've ever scrummed against?
Joe Moody.
Yeah.
Joe Moody. Yeah. Yeah. He's the best technically and the strongest. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So have you ever scrummed against him in a game or only at training?
Nah, only at training. But I know he's the best because I've scrummed against him, and it's either I lock him out or I go backwards. I can't. It's hard to push. It's hard to get him going backwards.
I could imagine.
Like you might get him once, but he's definitely the best. Yeah, I've gone against a few like really good loose heads, but none of them compared to what I've had against him at training. Yeah,
what about
Alan? Yeah, our scrum sessions at training, especially when like Owen and Owen was there and Crocky as well, were harder than the game. Yeah,
I could imagine.
Yeah.
Who was hooking for them at that time?
Oh, still Cody Taylor. Yeah.
He seems like a beast. He seems like a beast of a scrummager.
Yeah, he is. But I can't speak highly enough of him as well. He's probably he's one of the fittest guys I've ever seen, man. He busts his ass. Like he works really hard. Like he's just he's always in the gym doing like extra conditioning stuff. Like he's just like he'll play 80 minutes, and then on Saturday and then Monday he's in the gym doing like extra conditioning sessions that are all relative to like to being dynamic around the field.
Yeah, and he's not a small boy either, mate. He's like he'd look easily over 110.
Yeah, he is. Yeah.
That's amazing. That's amazing. Where's your favorite? Where's your favorite touring destination you've ever been to?
Probably. Well, I enjoyed Japan, but probably only because of the World Cup and like the whole buzz around it. But yeah, probably the favorite place would have to be South Africa. Yeah.
Never heard a prop say anything other than South Africa.
Yeah.
Something about Cape Town.
Yeah. Oh, Cape Town's it's unreal. Yeah. Yeah, it's beautiful. Yeah. I've only been there once. Yeah. Always when I've been to South Africa a few times. We normally play in Johannesburg and that, but Cape Town's unreal. And they packed the stadium out when we played there as well, which was that was unreal as well. Yeah. Well, the food there's unreal too. The steak.
That's what I hear.
Yeah. And it's cheap as well. It's like, like the rand is like doesn't even compare to the Aussie or New Zealand dollar. So you're paying like cheap for like high quality cuts of meat. Yeah.
And big feeds too, I'm told.
Yeah, huge feeds. Yeah. Yeah. Well, you can order 3 feeds for the price of one here in New Zealand. So yeah.
How many more years do you reckon you've got in you? Are you still feeling good even at this point?
I still feel good, really good. Like touch wood, like since I've been in New Zealand, I've missed 2 games or 3 games my whole career. Yeah. So
it's amazing, really.
Yeah. Yeah. So and I was fit those games too. Like I only missed one last year because my son was born.
Yeah,
right. I wouldn't have missed that. So it's been a dream ride. But in saying that, like going to a club like Leinster, where they've got world class tight ends there already, I think that's gonna hopefully prolong my career as well. Not having to do what I'm doing now over there, play week in week out. So hopefully, I'm hoping to get to 35. Yeah.
Man, that's unreal. What are you going to do once you're done playing? Have you got any ideas yet, or are you just going to see what happens?
Well, I finished uni around that time. I was at South. Did a Bachelor of Arts, majored in English. So I could become a teacher in the future. But I think what interests me in that is probably doing something around teaching and coaching rugby at school at the same time. So maybe like, a job at Newington or something. Director of rugby would be awesome. Putting a plug out there for myself. But no, like a role like that would be really awesome where I could teach and coach rugby at a school level. That'll be like that'll be an awesome way to stay involved in rugby. And teach at the same time. So that might be something.
Well, does professional coaching interest you at all?
No, not at this point. I think if I really want, to stay involved in rugby and to share what I've learned over my years, I feel like at the school level, that's probably the best place where I can do it. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think that's what I'm leaning towards now. So. Yeah, I think that'll be a cool way to stay involved in the game, but in a different way, not in a professional way. So
so you can kind of pass on the knowledge without all the pressure of performance and results and all that sort of stuff, which I could imagine being around it for most of your adult life. You'd probably, I know you love it, but one day you'd probably like a break from that, I'd imagine.
Yeah. I mean, every weekend you're being assessed for how you perform in your job. It's like, yeah. So, I mean, 1 week you can start, and then next you drop. So it's everyone says, everyone says how easy it is, but not easy, but how privileged we are as professional rugby players, which we are, but like that's the side of it that people don't see. Is like, the pressure to perform every week, and like the pressure of selection, and how that mixes together. Obviously some people deal with it better than others, but it's still hard for everyone. Yeah.
I could imagine being in a country like New Zealand. If you're an All Black and you'd lost a few games, like they don't lose much these days, but I could imagine that's a whole new type of pressure that most 20, 30-year-old people don't really have to deal with as well.
Yeah, that's why, I mean, for a lot of the boys, I think they just try and stay away from social media and reading the news articles as much as they can, because it happened to us early in the year. Like we dropped the game, and everyone's saying it's the end of the Crusaders, and like people will be trying to figure out, why we aren't as good as how we should be and stuff like that. But everyone's gonna, like, we're only human, we're not perfect. The media is it can be pretty brutal like that. I mean, tall poppy syndrome is
it's real.
The real thing in New Zealand. Yeah,
especially in New Zealand. More so than Oz, you reckon? Pretty similar.
Similar. Or I'd say the way the Daily Telegraph media is around the NRL and that is worse, but it still is similar though. Yeah.
Mate, last question. I've really, really enjoyed this, and I'm really grateful for your time. Looking back now, after all you've done, what advice would you give 18-year-old you?
To actually try hard at something, and it's a hard one, because I wouldn't be where I am now without what I went through at that age. But as I said before, I wish I'd figured it out when I was younger. To not leave any stone unturned would be the one. Like, that's something I didn't learn until I moved to New Zealand and got out of my comfort zone. It wasn't only when I was 18, like I was, 19, 20, 21, I was still living with my family. I moved to New Zealand. That's the first time I moved out of home. So that's when as I said earlier, like, my eyes were open to the world and what I could do in it. So I'd say, if you're gonna, like, if I was to do something at 18, just to not leave any stone unturned, and to put as much effort into it as I can at that time. Yeah.
Mate, it's worked out pretty well, to be fair.
Yeah. No, yeah.
That's a good way to end, though. But you got to, mate, one day you're going to have to look back at all you've done and be pretty stoked, really. Like, it's amazing, mate. Considering, like, I know you and I know where you've come from, it's amazing. Yeah, you should be stoked.
No, cheers, mate. No, appreciate that coming from you. Yeah. No, it means a lot. Yeah.
Mate, it's this has been a great podcast. I enjoyed it thoroughly. You got a game this weekend?
Yeah, we're playing the Rebels in Sydney on Saturday. Yeah.
Beautiful. Yeah. No, I can't come. I'm getting married on Sunday, so.
Oh, really? Oh, congrats, mate. Yeah.
Thanks, mate. Only took me 8 years.
Oh, awesome. Yeah. Oh, wow. That's awesome. Yeah.
Mate, well, it feels weird to be doing adult things, even I think I'm 33 now. A lot of the stuff you learned now, when you look back, I kind of feel the same, because I never tried at all. Yeah. and I really wish I'd tried it something when I was 17, 18. You know, it would have cut it all way down, I reckon.
Yeah.
So you guys win this game, you're in the finals, 6 super, and is that how it works? Or they do a final series? Or is
it's just a straight final. Yeah. The Highlanders are playing the Brumbies on Friday night. So our situation depends on how they go. Like,
okay,
they could win, but they could win, and then we'd have to win like with more points than them, sort of thing. Yeah. To secure.
You dropped the game. Did you drop a game?
No, we haven't, but we dropped the bonus point last week.
That's right. That's right. Okay. Well, mate, best of luck. I hope you get 6 Super Rugby titles. That sounds so strange to say, mate.
Yeah, it's pretty. Yeah, it's still surreal for me as well. Yeah.
Mate, let's finish on that. Mikey, thank you so much, mate. Great to see you. Best of luck over in Ireland and with all the Samoa stuff, mate. We'll be watching for sure, and I've enjoyed catching up, mate.
Yeah, good to catch up with you as well, and all the best with your wedding on Sunday. Hope it goes well, mate. Congratulations.
Thank you, mate.
And,
you too.
Yeah, I'll be keen to stay in touch, mate. Yeah,
mate, absolutely. Mate. Once you've got a bit set up over in Ireland, let's do another one and just check in some stage down the track, mate.
Awesome. No, I'll definitely be keen. Yeah.
Thank you, brother. Good chat, and you have a good night, my friend.
Yeah, you too, mate. Cheers.
Catch you, bro.
See you, mate. Bye.
Bye.